business alike to get involved in clean energy technology. So to that end, we're going to be cutting taxes for small and large businesses in half. These are corporate taxes, cut in half for businesses that are investing in clean technologies. We're also going to be planting a lot more trees. It sounds like a simple thing, but that program was cut by Doug Ford, and the federal government has picked it up, because the more trees we have, the more we're drawing down carbon. We're going to be retrofitting 1.5 million homes over the next 5 years to make them more energy efficient. And we're going to put $100 million into skilled trades training for people to work in the clean tech and the green energy sector. Thank you.
You guys are probably waiting for this. My name is Chad Ransom. I'm with the People's Party of Canada, and I do not deny climate change. I will put my carbon footprint against anybody that's up here. I live in a geothermal home in a 10-acre fully treed lot with a steel roof. All I need to do is produce my own electricity, and I am totally off the grid. But this is where, and on a personal thing, and I've been doing this, and I started this about 7 years ago. I did this 7 years ago, not because I was told to, but because I wanted to. Because it's common sense. We all have to live with the environment. We all have to, it's Mother Earth. It's our home. I would not leave my home messy, so I'm not going to leave my planet messy. Right? But the biggest problem that I'm finding is the storage capacity for renewable energy. It's not there yet. It's just not there yet. The technology's not there. I do not believe the world's going to end in 10 years. I am not a climate alarmist. I do believe we do have some time. I do believe that man-made carbon does affect the environment, but to what capacity, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But the IPCC, and yes, a political party member is actually going to quote the IPCC. One of the things that I found, they've actually suggested nuclear energy. It's carbon-free, and it's going to give us the energy we need to grow upwards. As we go, urban sprawl is taking out our pollinators, it's taking out our green spaces, it's taking out our farmlands. I do believe that nuclear energy is going to be the way to go. It's going to allow us to advance technologically. It's going to allow us to still explore space, explore the 80% of the ocean that hasn't been explored yet. We haven't even finished exploring our ocean. So there's many aspects of this planet that we don't know what causes anything. But again, I know you guys were probably a little bit surprised to say, for me to say that, but my name is Chad Ransom. I love the environment, and I am willing to do whatever I have
to do. Considering that a significant amount of the population identifies as LGBTQ, and there's other issues with equality in different communities, women's rights, for instance. What would you comment on that? What would your stance be on minority rights?
So can you just?
Yeah, you're going to have to stand up.
Okay. Yeah. This is a question on rights of LGBTQ and women's rights. If they comment on that.
And we're back to 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe we have made progress. I sincerely believe that. Often I think about political concepts, and maybe you got the vibe that I like to think conceptually, and that's probably what a federal parliamentarian should do, because you eventually have a lot of specialists. Conceptually, I'm talking about inclusiveness and exclusiveness, also a concept embraced by the Green Party. Let's say if two lesbian ladies get married, what does it take away from me? How does it impact my life negatively? Not at all. It's the pursuit of this couple's happiness that counts, and that makes me happy. So we have so many people who have different orientations, different ways they are as persons, or the way they want to be as persons. Let them be tolerant, be inclusive. It doesn't hurt us at all.
LGBT, we stand up for human rights, and we'll stand by the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We're an inclusive party, and that's what I can think of right now.
I'm a strong believer in human rights and freedoms. I've been an advocate and an ally for the LGBTQ community for a very long time. Back in the late 80s, I was part of a group that petitioned the provincial government to include sexual orientation in the Ontario Human Rights Code, and that was a successful petition. It did pass. I was part of a planning meeting for Pride Caledon just a few weeks ago. I marched in the Toronto Pride Parade, and I was also at Orangeville's Celebrate You're Awesome. It was a much smaller Pride March, but I was part of that as well. So you can count on me always to be an ally and a supporter of human rights.
Well, we wouldn't have the name People's Party if we didn't think everybody was equal. One of the things that we do stand for, like me personally, I've been to many Gurdwaras, I've been to mosques, I've been to many different faiths whenever it comes to churches. This is Canada. Everyone is equal. One of the ways that the People's Party proves it is if you go into the refugee platform, we're looking to give anybody that is being discriminated from other countries due to their sexual orientation or who they decide to love a cut in line. We're going to prioritize those guys to make sure they come through as refugees into this country. So we've proven it. It's in our platform. You can hold us accountable if we don't do it.
Well, I'm going to echo the sentiments we've heard from everyone here tonight. Absolutely no one should be discriminated against in any way, shape, or form on the basis of anything, whether that's sexual orientation, whether it's gender identity, gender expression, race, religion, anything like that. I think in this country we have had some moments of shame in the past where we were not as progressive and open to these kinds of things. We should all be unhappy with that past. But going forward, I would be an absolutely strong advocate for equality, for inclusiveness, for diversity, and to make sure that no one faces any kind of discrimination, hate, or anything like in our community. It is completely unacceptable. Up at my cottage near Bancroft, they decided to paint a rainbow walk in the downtown city of Bancroft. I thought it was a fantastic idea, and as I listened to a radio call-in show when I was up there talk about incidents of hate that were taking place because of it, I thought it was disgraceful. There is no place for hate, there is no place for discrimination for anyone on any of those bases.
Legislation limits donations to the environment to 75% of taxable income currently. Would your party make such donations qualify as a charitable receipt at 100%?
Sir, for donations to what?
Can I expand on that, please?
Yes.
Can I expand on the question?
Yes.
I sold 2 houses downtown Toronto. Incredibly lucky I have been. But when we tried to give all the money to charity, we could not. We can give it, but you cannot receive a taxable receipt against your taxes for more than 75% if it goes to an ecological charity. If it goes to a cultural charity, 100%. But I believe in trees ahead of people. So we wanted to give it, all we could do in terms of getting a charitable receipt against the enormously lucky capital gain that we got. And so many people in this room will get the day they sell their house. Well, maybe not your personal house, but if you have a second one. I would like. Yeah. The fact remains that I could only get a charitable receipt for 75%. We gave to the Bruce Trail, I'm not boasting about it, I'm telling you, we gave them $400,000 this year. To the Escarpment Biosphere Conservancy, $150,000. That's along the same route. That's all we could give and receive a receipt. We just sold another house, we have another one. How lucky am I?
Thanks, I think you've clarified the
We
question.
can only give that limited
Great.
amount.
Thank you.
Maybe, Michelle, you should start.
Yes, I will. So first of all, you're to be commended for your generosity.
Sorry?
You're to be commended for your generosity. Those are wonderful gifts. I had no idea that environmental charities were discriminated against in that manner. And absolutely, I would support 100% of donations to ecological organizations being tax
You
credited.
could become part of the Liberal platform before this election.
Yes. Well, before October. I will. I'll get on the phone. I'll call Justin, we'll get it done.
A vote for Chad Ransom with the People's Party of Canada is a vote. It's a vote for 0% capital gains. If you had voted for me, sir, you would have had a lot more money to give. Would I be 100% allowing people to give 100% and get that tax receipt? Yes. Because again, I'm about giving the people back their money, allowing them to make the choices that they want. If you're passionate about the environment, donate to the environment. Myself, with my son being special needs, I'm very passionate about that. Donate to that. We allow you to donate to what you feel you need to contribute to. That's part of being in a democracy and part of being in a free country, sir.
So I'm still a little confused as to whether or not you got a 75% tax credit or you're only able to get 75% of the amount you donated. I know that those two are a little bit different, but you know, look, this is the kind of thing as a member of parliament, you want to hear from your constituents, and you want to take that back to Ottawa and find out what the reason is, what the rationale is. If it makes no sense for this to be a discrimination based on that, then you want to change it. I'm not a tax code expert, so I can't say why the Government of Canada has made that decision, but if you were my constituent, I would drive to Ottawa, I'd figure out why it's being treated differently, and if it didn't make any sense for me, then I'd be advocating for that change.
Can I steal this minute for something else? I don't have much to contribute. Obviously, as a Green, I agree with you, but we are all a bit confused about the issue. And it seems like we are all in agreement that as constituents, we have to listen to our constituents with such specific causes. But I cannot make a significant contribution here right now, and I hope I can buy a few seconds for something where I can talk a little bit more green. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sir, I just want to echo Michelle's sentiments of your generosity. This is something I would certainly take your question back to the party, because I couldn't give you an honest answer, and I'm not going to pull an answer out of the air. So at the end, if I can take your question, I can take it back to the party and get the right answer to you. Okay?
Someone would like you to comment, this was directed to Liberal, but the electoral reform first past the post, if, and you can all weigh in on that.
We'll start again on that.
Stefan, I have not heard a commitment for the Liberals to start again on that. But yes, no, in 2015, the Liberals came into power, and Justin Trudeau famously said this will be the last time we have a first past the post system. And then the Commission came back with a proposal for a system of proportional representation and to take it as a referendum to the Canadian people. And so my understanding was that Trudeau wanted a ranked system, not a proportional representation system, and that's where it ended. Personally, I have always liked the idea of proportional representation. I like it that everybody's vote counts. We have never been able to successfully have a referendum that gives the go-ahead for proportional representation in Canada. We had a referendum in Ontario many years ago. I don't know if some of you remember that. There have been 3 in British Columbia. And I think part of the problem is that it seems so complex compared to the system we have now, which is easy for people to understand. So for instance, in Vancouver, and you think if anywhere it was going to pass that we would have proportional representation, it would be there. 3 times they've had a referendum, 3 times they've said no, because the majority likes the system as they currently have it. I think it's largely a marketing problem, and I was in conversation with somebody at the Prime Minister's office a few weeks ago, and I told them that that was a marketing challenge that I would like to take on. So that's all I can say.
I am definitely for proportional representation.